Ready to go?
Howdy. You got any pyrite on you?
Can't say I do.
Then you're nothing. Me? I got a little. Worked all day for it.
Can I see it?
Okay, I lied. I'm fresh out. I'm a failure.
Stay your wandering boots, my lad, and answer old SKOOVA. Do I strike cutting fisherman?
Not sure what you mean.
Me appearance, lad. Does it warm your shallows? Does it put a sea spray on your face?
You look nice, SKOOVA.
Let's hope the frilled newt agrees, laddie. I'll have to muster all my seaward charms if I'm to lure it into my grasp.
Seems it liked you.
Aye, don't be surprised. It is a great talent of mine. You see, the frilled newt is the most sensual of sea folk, skittish, except when it spies a potential mate. Hence my great vanity on this day. It is a shame to deceive him, but I can offer a quiet home in my tank as a recompense.
Sounds fair to me.
Now, shall we continue my tale? Where did we end? Ah, yes. The monstrous Captain went. His crew and myself fled aboard the pirate schooner of the filthy Zephyrs. Well, fast as the morning thaw, I could tell something was off. Wanyek, he wouldn't look me in the eye. Oh, and a dreadful stench was a brewing his rotten beard. An augur of fate most ill. Wanyek took the helm, and with landing claws away, we flew to deep space, putting a few lifetimes between us and those pirates. We found ourselves afield of the Parlymian trade route. As soon as the captain took his hand off the yoke, he put it on his harpoon and gave me a look like a half-starved Tuka-cat iron sprat. "SKOOVA," snarled the vile captain, "you've gone as soft as an oyster's navel. If I couldn't trust you to spare a quarrel with your blaster in your mouth, I couldn't trust you to skewer the great grouper fish. Aye, my hesitance to pull the trigger had me undone. In spite of the most rabid pleas, the captain jettisoned wee SKOOVA in an escape pod. The last thing I saw was his dread smile, crooked like a bayman's backbone. And so, my time aboard the grapnel met a briny end. Sitting alone in a pod, in deep space, with nothing but a tank of old cod and gash. I'll tell you more later, lad. The despair. Oh, the stench. It's enough to set my stomach a churn to this very day.
Hey, SKOOVA.
Notice anything different?
Can't say I do.
My suit, laddie! It's a sparkle with grease! Now you may ask, SKOOVA, you old salt, have you lost your rubber? Are you planning to cook yourself into buttered chum?
The thought crossed my mind.
No, lad. I'll show you. You see that, lad? The blue-finned crayfish is a fearsome warrior. Not just because its claws are sharper than the bristles on my lip, but also because it's as slippery as a shiver pea taking an afternoon dip. So, how do you fight slippery? By being muckle slippery yourself.
I'll remember that next time I'm in a bind.
Oh, and I've only just begun, lad. If you've a moment, I'll continue my tale.
So, SKOOVA, back to your story. Were you actually marooned in deep space by Captain Wet?
Aye, lad. There I sat, tummy a rumble, gazing out at the void. My somber reflection staring back from the porthole. Was it hours? Years? Neither would faze me. But I do recall this. After a term most interminable, there she was, like a bowsprit cutting through a crest. A great space whale, still sporting the grapnel's imprint on her side, emerged from a parted void. Aye, even now it brings the salt to my eyes. Her great blubbery undulations tossed me blood through the stars like a goose-winged skiff. The stars swirled about like 100,000 fishes until suddenly I saw a planet below. There my pod crashed, and there I was rescued by kindly locals. I had been saved by this marvelous creature from the depth of space. I tried searching for her. Alas, to no avail. She eluded me for years before I packed my satchel and headed home for SKOOVA. Most didn't believe what I'd seen. They say she was naught but the terminal spasm of a starving salt's brain. But I know what I saw, lad. I know what I saw. Of course, when I returned home, things were not as I remembered them. But that be a tale for another time. Stay tender, lad. This one's a rare catch indeed.
What is it?
The fabled farfish. Its tail is one riven with greed, soaked to the bone with tragedy. There are scant few far left on account of their succulent glands. But I do not intend to harvest the poor creature for its organs. I intend to bring it back to the saloon, where I might one day find a mate for it.
Playing matchmaker, huh? You found another fawfish before?
No, but fishing's about leaving the world better than you found it. A ripple's only as good as the stone you cast. Now for a tale, lad. So, after years of searching for the great whale, I returned home to the frozen shores of SKOOVA, where my tale began. And this world on which I was weaned and warmed seemed but a moon to me careworn eyes. So small. I foot-slogged my way back to Undun's cave, but I found it empty, and somehow colder than I remembered. You know, lad, sometimes the truth brings peace, and sometimes it brings sadness. The fish is nae always what you thought it'd be when it bit the line. I dragged myself out of that cave and back to my village. And what I discovered next sent a spar through me thrice-pickled belly. All me kith and kin, old and bairn, ravaged by famine and cold. For none other than Captain Wanyik Wet had been fishing in their waters, sparing what few fish remained and taking them off-world. And so it was that I found myself once again in search of the dread captain and his crew. Not just for my own justice, but to liberate my very home. When we next speak, I'll tell you what became of my crusade. Cal, have you time for a chuckle? I've a wee joke for you.
Sure.
Capital. Hark, imagine there be a fish with no gills.
Is that the joke?
What do you mean? Is that... Of course! How would a fishy breathe with no gills?
Oh, huh. I get it.
Oh, what? You think you can do better? Go on, then.
Okay. How many fish does it take to teach a class?
Give me a minute.
A whole school.
A whole Oh, lad, you're a crack-up. Laddie, did you know that I be a poet of sorts?
I didn't, but I have a pretty good idea what you wrote about.
Hark, I muckle love to fish.
Yep.
To try to catch a fish. Oh, to see through the eye of a fish. Ah, I cannot recall the last line.
If only I had my wish.
Here. I do like my fish.
That was really something, Scuba.
Aye, well, still a work in progress. You know, I muckle love to fish. To try to catch a fish dish? No. Ahoy, Cal!
Isn't it a little dark down there for fishing?
A true fisher doesn't rely on the sun to do the seeing. A true fisher fishes with the mind. Sink your eyes on this. You're asking yourself, how in the deep did old SKOOVA know where the fishy was hiding? And what you don't know is that the barred hookfish always travels northward.
How does it always travel north?
Well, you see, north, it's a relative, define a bumped into it on my way down. But a true fisher knows that a pocket full of luck is more important than some cod migration pattern. Now for a story, if you've the time. Aye, our story nears its end. I discovered that Captain Whit was plundering my very home seas for exotic fish. And in the process, starving the old tars who raised me from a wee yoke. I spent many months in search of them. At long last, I discovered them on the salted shores of the third moon of Antine. I hied to Antine and trucked me foe to the Garacus Trench, a fissure sliced clean through the moon's heart. There, amongst the brine and black, I found him. Wanyak Whit and his vile crew, surrounded by glumbering eels, spearing them with their harpoons. "Captain," I cried, "you've broken your promise never to harvest the seas of Sakavitar." And I said, "Your command be forfeit if you dinna forswear my home waters." Oh, I'll scarce forget the snarl he issued as he turned to me, slow as a frozen reef, regarding me after years of thinking me dead. "This," he growled, "is why you dinna toss the fish back into the sea." Before I could shake my flippers, the barb of his harpoon spun through the deep, and its hook pierced me in the chest. My juices filled the water, and as my vision grew dark, I espied Wanyak, smiling sharp as a fang.
That's horrible, Scuva.
I told you, lad, that mine be a dark tale. I'll tell you more when next we meet. Ah, boy.
Scuva, hey, what's waiting beneath the surface this time?
These strange climes harbor a most mysterious resident. The Viscid Lurker. There they love to nestle into the cozier reaches of the sea, but they're not too cozy for Scuba Step.
Nice, I think.
Got it. You know, I was famed for my lurker catching talents. Oh, and lad, I know what you'll say. Scuba, you were only prized for your skill in catching them on account of your wee stature. And I might be you're right. But you can no more fit a basilisk in a lurker's lair than an oyster in a thimble.
Sounds right to me.
Can I interest you in a tale? So there I was, deep in the Garacus Trench, Wanyak's harpoon drilled through me paunch, watching the lights fade from my own eyes. The dread captain peeled his whiskers from his teeth and grinned a most ghastly grin. When suddenly, I saw the glumbering eels a-swirl. It seemed that, in the midst of my distraction, they'd taken flight. It dawned on me. I recalled to me mind the great meeting call of the eels, my last hope. So, rousing my final gasp of air, I sounded their shrill cry.
What happened?
Well, lad, I'll tell ye. The eels swarmed in an electric blaze. The dread crew scattered, and Wanyak, that damned Wanyak, that dread was cooked like an evening quillfish. As the eels smote him into the deep, I felt consciousness run out to my ears. Darkness fell upon me. When I awoke, well, find me again, and I'll conclude my tale.